She's giving women a better choice than Planned Parenthood. Welcome to Freedom Alive. Even though Roe v. Wade was overturned in 2022, abortions in America have not stopped. In fact, according to Planned Parenthood's recent annual report, abortions have increased from the previous year and are at a record high. For 30 years, Brandi Swindell continues to be a bold voice empowering women and protecting the unborn. Brandi is the founder and CEO of Stanton Healthcare and Stanton Public Policy Center. I'm thankful to again be joined by our co-host, Matt Staver from Liberty Counsel. And Matt, it's encouraging to see many of the Planned Parenthood facilities close due to lack of funding. So that means a decrease in surgical abortions. But now, abortion pills are being sold by drug cartels, even in states where abortion isn't legal. That means that chemical abortions now range from the low 60s to as high as 90%.
Yeah, it's a good sign that the brick and mortar abortion facilities, surgical abortion clinics, are closing across the country. And that has happened because of the decision in 2022 in the Dobbs case overruling the abortion decisions. And also some of the decisions of defunding the abortion facilities, like, for example, in the One Big Beautiful Bill and also in the states. But what we've seen happen, and this was going on before Roe versus Wade was overturned, but has exponentially increased after, is the increase in the abortion drug mifepristone. And what's happening, for example, in states, say, like Florida and others, where abortion is essentially illegal after 6 weeks, after the heartbeat is detected. And other states are similar. The abortion pills are being shipped across state lines in places where brick and mortar abortions are not permissible after 6 weeks for any reason, in this particular case, Florida and other places. And yet abortion is now increasing.
Thanks, Matt. I agree. It's a new development in this battle for life. This will be a remarkable episode. We cannot wait to bring it to you. But Liberty Counsel's Freedom Alert is next.
HHS acts to protect children from medical mutilation. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services has begun the federal rulemaking process to end sex-rejecting procedures on gender-confused children. That means no more puberty blockers, cross-sex hormones, and mutilating surgical interventions. The proposed rule would bar all hospitals nationwide participating in Medicare and Medicaid programs from performing sex-rejecting procedures on gender-confused children as a condition of receiving federal funding or reimbursements. The announcement came just one day after the U.S. House of Representatives narrowly passed the Protect Children's Innocence Act that would criminalize administrating these procedures on minors with gender confusion, with penalties including fines or up to 10 years in prison or both. The medical profession needs to treat mental health issues with talk therapy counseling rather than irreversible harmful procedures.
Up next, Matt's interview with Brandi Swindell.
I'm pleased to welcome to Freedom Alive our special guest, Brandi Swindell. She is the founder and CEO of Stanton Healthcare International and Stanton Public Policy Center. Welcome to Freedom Alive, Brandi.
Thank you, Matt. Appreciate being here with you.
Well, you do a lot in the area of health and certainly pro-life. Tell us a little bit about your background, your organizations, and how this came about.
Sure. So I've been doing pro-life work full-time for 27 years now. I'm aging myself here a bit, but I started in my early 20s and really just kind of felt that call in my life that I didn't want to stand on the sidelines, but I wanted to be actively involved in speaking up for the preborn and for women and families. And so I started off doing pro-life activism and advocacy, and I'd put together, pro-life youth events. I did a lot of speaking on college campuses and high school campuses and a lot of youth groups, and built a solid network of what I call Gen Lifers, Generation Life, this emerging generation standing for their brothers and sisters in the womb. But out of that work came the reality that I understood that in my own community out in Boise, Idaho, which is where I'm from, we did not have a pregnancy center that was doing ultrasounds. And so I decided I would, put together a fundraiser or something like that to raise money for an ultrasound machine to support the work of our, one of our local pregnancy centers. And when I reached out, none of them were very interested in going that direction. And so I said that prayer, Lord, I pray and hope that you raise someone up to start a pregnancy clinic that would do ultrasounds. And of course, I had that aha moment where the Lord touched my heart and said, you're the one who's going to start it. So in 2006, I founded and opened up our very first Stanton Healthcare life-affirming women's medical clinic. And we opened as an actual medical clinic with volunteer nurses, sonographers, doctors, and a state-of-the-art ultrasound machine so that we could provide women with exceptional care. Fast forward to where we are today, and we've actually launched a movement of healthcare clinics. We have multiple centers in Idaho. We have clinics in California. We have a public policy center and a presence in Washington, D.C. We have international clinics, one in Stanton, Belfast, and we're working on plans to maybe see what we can do in developing and emerging countries. And so that's really our heart with Stanton Healthcare, is to make sure that any woman facing an unexpected pregnancy has access to life-affirming care at no charge. And that's a game changer.
So how can people find out more about Stanton Healthcare and where they're located and how they might be able to get involved?
Sure. So we have centers, again, out here in Idaho, where I'm from. We have centers in Southern California. We have, again, our public policy center in Washington, D.C. And we encourage people to learn more about us. Go to our website, stantoninternational.org, to learn more about who we are, the work that we do. And one of the things, Matt, that you'll understand with the wonderful work you do with your organization throughout the nation and specifically on Washington, D.C., is the importance of working with our lawmakers and making sure that the voice of the preborn is elevated and amplified on Capitol Hill, right? I've worked closely with your team there in Washington, D.C. and on different events. And one of the things that I was grateful to participate in is when Roe was overturned, praise God for that, there was a congressional hearing, and I was invited to speak on a congressional panel at the Capitol representing the pro-life cause. And it was myself and three others, and the three others were all pro-abortion activists and doctors for Planned Parenthood. And then there was me representing Stanton Healthcare and the nationwide pregnancy center movement, and most importantly, those preborn children and the women and families we serve. But it was a great honor to be there, to be a voice for the women and to be a voice for our movement. And I'm thankful that God opened that door. But that's the importance of our work, is not letting Planned Parenthood and the abortion industry act like they're the only voice for women. So we have the state-of-the-art clinics, unexpected pregnancy care and support through 18 months. And in addition to that public policy outreach, so that Planned Parenthood and the abortion industry aren't the only ones representing women and families. And so that's really important.
I want to come back to the public policy portion in a moment, and your testimony and things that can happen going forward with other public policy, both on the national and local level. But in terms of your medical facilities, your healthcare facilities, what kinds of resources can someone expect when they attend one of these facilities? What do you provide?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm glad you asked it. I'll tell you the short and easy answer, and then I'll go into more detail. You get a lot more than when you go to an abortion clinic, right? Where you're only offered one choice. And really, we know statistically, and even from the stories of women who have come through our doors and their past experiences at a Planned Parenthood or an abortion clinic, you're coerced, pressured oftentimes, and sold an abortion. And so it's when women come to our center, number one, they're offered hope. And that's the biggest thing. But in addition to that, there's tangible resources and services that we provide. So when a woman walks through our doors, she's met with compassion and professionalism, with credentialed staff and client advocates who meet her where she is in a safe and comfortable environment where she feels supported and not alone, which is incredibly important. We are able to do lab grade pregnancy tests. From there, if that lab grade pregnancy test is positive, we are able to do an ultrasound exam at no charge, which if she goes to a regular doctor, that could be anywhere from $300 to $600. So we provide her that service. That becomes a window to the womb where a woman sees the heartbeat of her baby for the very first time. And that little baby can be the size of a grain of rice. And she can see that little flicker, that little butterfly of a heartbeat. And that's when she begins to bond with that baby. From there, we're able to get her into our 18-month program where we stand with her through the duration of her pregnancy and after the baby is born. We provide prenatal vitamins, maternity clothes and supplies, pregnancy preparation classes, childbirth education classes, lactation consultations. The list goes on and on. Once the baby's born, we then provide baby supplies, mommy and me care, parenting classes, wellness care. The list goes on and on. We have a network of providers we work with so that she has a really healthy and good labor and delivery experience. Our team of doctors and nurses come alongside each woman, providing her with individualized care so that she is confident in choosing life for her baby, and also so that she has a better chance of thriving in her own life. And that's the game changer, Matt. And that's really one of the things I shared when I testified before Congress, is I had a member of Congress ask me, can you prove, do you have the results to say that the care you provide is better than an abortion? I said, I absolutely do. Evidence shows that when there is life-affirming care, when a woman is supported and she is given pre- and postnatal education and care, she is life-minded and she is confident in parenting that baby, and it stops the pattern of dysfunction in her life. When a woman is in a cycle of poverty or abuse or addiction and she gets an abortion, she stays in that place. When a woman comes to a place like Stanton or a reputable pregnancy center, that is a pivotal moment where she gets her life on track, because now things just got serious. She's going to be a mom, right? And so women rise to the occasion, and when they get the support and resources they need, it's a game changer, and they get themselves out of abusive relationships. They get themselves out of poverty. They get themselves out of addiction, and they have a better life, and they build and create a better life for their baby. It's incredible, Matt.
What kind of reaction did you get when you responded to a question like that?
I got, like you would, it kind of went down the aisle, right? There were pro-choice Democrats in that hearing, and there were pro-life Republicans, and so you could sort of see the dividing line. I will say, Matt, you'll think this is funny because you're an attorney and you represent a team of wonderful attorneys, which I am not one, but I prepared for this hearing like I was preparing for the bar exam, right? Like I did not want to mess up. I had all my facts in a row. But I have to tell you, once I started and I looked at who the opposition was and who else was on the panel, and it was a pro-choice doctor with Planned Parenthood, a pro-choice advocate with Planned Parenthood, and then another pro-choice doctor, when they were asked when is the definitive moment when it's too late to provide abortions, they couldn't and wouldn't answer it. And so I raised my hand and said, I'll answer it. Let me explain to you biology when life. And if it wasn't such a serious topic, it was comical, because our side is based in evidence. Yeah. It's based in truth. It's based in law. It's based in science. It's based in God's holy word. So it's so easy to defend and speak on it. Their side is based on lies and deception and the ability to cover up or the reality of them covering up what they're actually doing. So they can't even answer basic questions. So it was one of the easiest things I'd ever done, was simply speaking the truth about human life in the womb and the importance of the care that we provide.
Well, and it's hard to rebut things that you just said. You know, when you're out there actually doing the real work, providing free resources, providing compassion, helping women, helping them to get back on track. How do you come against that? Obviously, they still are blinded, but thank you for what you do. Let's talk about something else that's happened since Roe versus Wade. We certainly are excited that Roe versus Wade was overturned in 2022 by the Dobbs decision. And also the fact that there's a lot of brick and mortar abortion clinics, Planned Parenthood included, that are closing, in part because of the decision in 2022, in part because of the One Big Beautiful Bill, and also in part because of state laws that are defunding Planned Parenthood from Medicaid. But at the same time that these brick and mortar surgical abortion facilities are closing, there seems to be an increase in the abortion pill, mifepristone. And that pill is actually being shipped across state lines into places, say, for example, Florida, where you can't have an abortion after a heartbeat is detected, which is around 6 weeks. So what you cannot do in a brick and mortar facility in Florida, some of these abortionists are sending the pills into Florida to do exactly what is prohibited by law, as well as in other states. Talk to us about what you're seeing with the abortion pill mifepristone. What does it do? How does it work? And how can we come against that particular deadly drug?
Matt, we have a serious problem on our hands. I'm calling it the global abortion pill crisis. So I'm glad that you and your team are tracking with the reality of how serious this is. And we have the same thing happening in Idaho. We're one of those states that had a trigger law in place so that when Roe was overturned, we had an abortion ban that would protect women and children. And now we know that in places like Idaho and Florida and pretty much every state around the nation and beyond the United States, women are able to get the abortion pill online. They can order it from bad actors online and get it from all different countries and places delivered right to their house. And so I describe it now, the abortion clinic is now in the palm of a woman's hand. A family's home has now become the abortion clinic. A family could have a 15-year-old daughter who gets the abortion pill online, or her boyfriend gets it online, and she's by herself in her bedroom or in the family bathroom having an abortion. And so it's very serious, it's very dangerous, and it's very real. So we have had women come into our clinics that have taken the abortion pill. We are very proud at Stanton Healthcare that our team and our medical director got trained in abortion pill reversal, which is a life-saving process that if a woman changes her mind and she's in that window or that time frame where we can assist her, we can reverse the process of the abortion pill. So the abortion pill is done in a 2 to 3 day process. There's typically 2 pills that are taken that are involved. And so a woman will go to a Planned Parenthood or an abortion clinic and get it, or like we've been saying, it's delivered to her home. She takes the first pill. If she goes to an abortion clinic, they force her to take the first pill while she's there. Then they send her home with the additional pill to take in the next 24 hours. So the first step of the pill is to deplete the woman's body from giving nutrients and her to the baby, and also to deplete the lining of her uterine wall so that the baby can't properly attach to the womb the way God intended it. And what it basically does is a woman's body, when she's pregnant, gets progesterone is naturally flowing through her body to make sure that it's a healthy environment and to sustain the life of that new tiny little preborn baby. The abortion pill prevents that progesterone from moving forward. So basically the baby is starved and the lining of the uterine wall becomes antagonistic to the baby being able to properly grow in the womb. With abortion pill reversal, what we're able to do is simply reintroduce the power of progesterone naturally coming back into the woman's body to create a healthy environment so that little baby can thrive. So we've had several saves at Stanton Healthcare through abortion pill reversal if a woman comes in on time. Of course, the abortion industry never factored in that God would give some of our amazing pro-life doctors in the movement the wisdom to develop the abortion pill protocol. And so the abortion industry is trying to prevent centers like Stanton and life-affirming doctors from providing abortion pill reversal. So this is another legal front that we need good attorneys like you, Matt, standing with pregnancy centers and life-affirming doctors on, is because there's been a very strategic attack to try and prevent abortion pill reversal from being a protocol. Number of medical institutions have spoken out against it. Planned Parenthood, of course, is speaking out against it. In countries like England, there is a wonderful pro-life doctor there who was providing abortion pill reversal, and the country, the National Association that because it's socialized medicine there, they tried to revoke his license and ability to do that. Thankfully, the doctor won his legal case, and the main reason he won is because there were stories of women he helped who had their babies who said, this doctor treated me with compassion. I was desperate, and this is the only doctor that helped me, and I have my baby now because of this doctor. And so it's the stories of the women that are helped and the pictures of those little babies, those faces that were destined to die through the abortion pill, and their lives were saved. So that's the power of the work that we do. And it's the abortion pill now accounts for 65% of abortions in America, and that number is growing. In England, like I mentioned, the UK, it's at 85%. And we know also that third world or developing emerging countries are being targeted with the abortion pill by international population control organizations and Planned Parenthood and Mary Stopes. And so this is a crisis for humanity. And it's really a human pesticide that is designed to destroy God's masterpiece, which is humanity.
Why would anyone say to a woman who says, look, I made a mistake, I took this pill, I want to reverse it? Why would someone say, no, we're not going to allow you to get life-saving treatment. We're going to allow that pill to do its destructive work and kill your baby and ruin your life?
I'm not even a doctor, and it's common sense. How can you say that the process that prevents the woman from naturally carrying her baby to term, and it's an unnatural, the abortion pill is unnatural and dangerous, obviously, for the baby and for the woman. How can you say that's good medicine and that's healthy and that's women's health care? But as soon as she changes her mind, she shouldn't be allowed to access abortion pill reversal. And I don't want to over spiritualize it, but it's so absurd that it's evil. Yeah. I mean, it's just evil to deny a woman the right to change her mind and to seek health care so that child can be saved.
It absolutely is. I know we've been researching the abortion pill in the water. We have a website, abortioninourwater.org. And what is shocking is that when this abortion pill was originally approved in 2000 during the Clinton administration, the number of abortion pills were not envisioned to be this kind of staggering amount that we have right now. And they never even did any research about how this would affect the water supply. So now these abortions, with not only the mifepristone and the other drugs going into the water supply because they're being done over toilets, that's where these abortions are being done. Yeah. Also, the remains of the baby are going into the water supply system as well. And our water supply treatment plants were never designed to address human remains. Brandi, we have in 2026, there's a number of states that have these proposed abortion amendments on the ballot. We have that to contend with. We have also this abortion pill issue that is both a national and an individual state issue, particularly with regards to protecting our water supply systems, if nothing else. How do we move forward with legislation? How do we move forward with education as we move forward in this 2026 year to reclaim and restore a culture and an ethic that protects the sanctity of human life?
Right. Well, you mentioned the abortion referendums. Idaho is one of those states where the abortion industry is launching collecting signatures right now as we speak to try and undo Idaho's abortion ban. And so please pray for us and pray for our state and pray for women and families that we can fight that. But, Education, I think, is so important. We've got to educate the church. The body of Christ has got to be educated. They've got to understand how serious this is, that the abortion pill is targeting women. It's targeting families. It was invented and designed with population control beliefs behind it. It's a moneymaker for Planned Parenthood. It's a moneymaker for the manufacturers of the abortion pill. And now is the time. Now is the time for God's people to rise up. And we need professionals. We need students. We need pastors. We need everybody from all backgrounds to take this cause to heart, because this is about humanity. The abortion pill is designed to destroy God's masterpiece, and we've got to fight it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Brandi. Brandi Swindell. She is the founder and CEO of Stanton Healthcare International and Stanton Public Policy. And you can find her and her organization on the website, stantonhealthcare.org. Brandi, thank you for all you're doing. Thank you for standing for life.
Matt, clearly the issue of our time. Brandi describes it as a global abortion pill crisis. For those at home watching around the United States and outside of the United States, how do we fight back in this changing new landscape with abortion pills for this fight for life?
Well, I think, first of all, we have to be educated about it. There's some studies that have just come out recently that talk about how dangerous this is for women. It's not safe. Women have died. They've had complications. They've had serious medical issues as a result of it. So it's not safe, as Planned Parenthood wants you to believe. Second thing, I think, is what we're doing with abortion in our water. We have a website, abortioninourwater.org, that Liberty Counsel action we are working on to bring to the attention of people what's happening. Where is this waste going? Well, it's going into the water supply because it's entering into the water supply via the toilets. That's where this is being done, over toilets. It's gross to talk about, even think about, but that's where this is happening. The abortions are not in brick and mortar anymore. They're in your home, they're in your hotels. And they're done over commodes, over the toilets.
Unattended.
Unattended, that's right.
Back to your point about safety.
Yeah, so there's...
How could it be safe?
There's not any safety, there's no follow-up. But the remnants of the drug, the progesterone drop blocker, mifepristone, going into the water, those are not filtered out by the water supply filtering systems.
For those at home, it's our privilege, it's the honor of our life to bring you this kind of information on every episode of Freedom Alive. The point of education, to be aware of what's happening so that you and your family can make the best possible decisions and be on the right side of this fight for life that is going to be going on the rest of our lifetimes. In closing, remember 1 Corinthians 16, verse 13, which says, "Be on your guard, stand firm in the faith, be courageous, be strong." Our freedom is a gift from our Creator. We must never forget that and always protect it. Join us here next time. You'll hear victories as well as ways you can stand up for your priceless freedom. Join us again for Freedom Alive.